mersi frumos pentru invitație. Vorbesc din perspectiva unei muncitor străin în România, din Regatul Unit. Și
if you wish, you can switch to English. Our audience is
the Chamber of Commerce is not a political organization, so my switch to English should be regarded for practicality and intelligibility rather than any particular view upon Brexit. So, as I said, Brexit has been interesting. I came to Romania in 1996, and Romania was not then a member of the European Union. As a commercial lawyer, my perspective on Brexit is it is a matter of politics. Now, the politics is done. We've had discussions for years in the UK about whether we should be members of the common market. Arguably, the common market no longer exists. It's now the European communities and then the European Union. And so I think the discussion about the level of recognition given to the representative in London of the EU is perhaps a matter of to be seen in the context of the British perspective. Is it a European superstate, or is it an association of independent countries? I think there are more important things to talk about, with all due respect to our diplomatic friends on that. I would say that there are two things that are more important, or three things more important than Brexit. One, it's said that in English that it's an ill wind that blows nobody any good, and every dark cloud has a silver lining. And I would say that the pandemic demonstrates that, because now travel is very restricted. And so we are not seeing how many gaps and problems there are in the agreement that's been reached between the EU and the UK. In my capacity as chairman of the chamber, we've already had some involvement in this, and I speak not about the confiscated cheese and ham sandwiches in the Hook of Holland. Those of you who haven't heard, it's now no longer possible to make private imports of animal or dairy produce products, and therefore drivers have had their cheese and ham sandwiches confiscated by Dutch customs, which made the front pages in the British press. But I have also been involved in a case in Romania where a British person arrived to take up a job in Romania and was refused entry at the airport and was deported on the next day. And I find this quite shocking, given that we have rights to come into Romania, as you do in the UK, for up to, I think, 90 days in any given period. And so even if someone were coming to work and had not got the necessary labour permits in place, I could have seen a practical approach would have been to let the person come in under a warning not to work, and then to regularise their employment position before beginning work. So one of my concerns is, if you wish, user-unfriendly bureaucratic approaches to the new conditions, both in the EU and also in the UK, because we had bureaucrats too. Personally, my view is that the two most important things have not been changed by Brexit. The first is the double taxation treaty between the UK and Romania, unchanged. And the second is the bilateral investment protection treaty between the UK and Romania. Now, as has been mentioned, the UK is no longer part of the single market, and you may have been following the discussions about whether or not bilateral investment protection treaties were compatible with the rules of the single market. The European drinks case, I'm sure, would be familiar to many of you. Now, to my mind, as someone advising on foreign investment coming into Romania, the fact that we now have some confidence that the bilateral investment protection treaty will not be affected can only be a good thing for British investors looking to invest in Romania. Similarly in the UK, because neither country, let's say, has a perfect system. But from a business point of view, what businesses need is a degree of stability and predictability. All the discussions over are we in, are we out, what are the terms, is it no deal? Those, fortunately, are now behind us. Like it or not, that is the result. And I don't think any of the parties in the UK, except with the exception, I think, of one or two, are seriously proposing that the UK or part of it should go back into the European Union. What I think we have now is a situation of some stability. There will be a period where we work out what hasn't been fixed, be it cheese and ham sandwiches, be it people coming into work, and there'll be time now to fix this kind of problem. I would say that the status of Romanians working in the UK, I think, is clear. I think also people like me as Brits in Romania is also quite clear. For those who come after, it will be more tricky. What is also shown is that, with all due respect to our political friends, it sometimes comes down to personal initiative. Now, those people in Northern Ireland already have access to Republic of Ireland passports, i.e. EU passports. A great many of my British friends have suddenly found Irish grandmas and have acquired Irish passports. We have British members of the Chamber of Commerce who haven't found British passports, who have already become Romanian citizens or are in the process of becoming so. So I can see that this is going to be something where it's up to personal initiative to find a solution for yourself. I mean, insofar as my experience is that the people who are expats going to other countries tend to be the ones with initiative to go and find opportunities in another country. This doesn't surprise me. What I will say, and this is perhaps more of a matter for those of us listening in the UK, is how much more democratic Romania is than the UK. Now, the importance of the diaspora, because having lived in Romania now since 1996, the Chamber has been active in speaking with the governments in both Romania and the UK. I take part in Coaliția here in Romania and able to pass on the views of members in Romania through that particular forum. But in the UK, we are members of the British Chambers of Commerce. And this is an organization which includes not only the domestic chambers of commerce, but also the bilateral British Chambers of Commerce around the world. And this gives us a very powerful voice to speak to the UK government and to the devolved governments upon measures to make this work. Now, the chamber is strengthened by the number of members in it, both here and in the UK. What we have found in the pandemic is that we are able to work very effectively online, as well as with face-to-face events. Traditionally, we've always had several events in London every year. Those will resume once we resume in Bucharest and Cluj-Napoca. But in the meantime, we are very, very active with our colleagues in the British Chambers of Commerce in explaining to the UK authorities what kind of problems there are for Romanian businesses and for other businesses. In my experience personally, it's very easy to form a company in the UK. I actually look after companies in the UK still, although I work from Bucharest. The problem is usually one of opening a bank account for a UK company if one is not physically able to go and visit the people in the UK who have the bank. And there are ways we're looking at to deal with that. So the Chamber is important as a partner for you if you have business in both countries, in assisting you to talk to the people who make some of the decisions that affect you. Come and talk to us if we can help. As I've mentioned, we can't always help. I was involved in the case of the British person who was refused entry to Romania. That was escalated. Unfortunately, it couldn't be stopped, but I'm hopeful that that will not be repeated. One can get that kind of situation in both countries. We probably can't save your cheese and ham sandwich if you're coming through customs, but we can at least help you in talking to the right people and making business possible, because there are always going to be problems. I mean, one can't say that life is easy wherever you go, but those problems also provide opportunities. Some of our members are telling us they've hired more people to cope with the changes that have been brought by Brexit. So life goes on.